one of a handful that will supply air conditioners for their athletes at the Paris Games, in a move that undercuts the organizers' plans to cut carbon emissions. Well, who could have guessed that our best athletes want to have a good night's sleep? That seems crazy. How about the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic CEO, Sarah Hirschland? She said Friday that while the U.S. team appreciates efforts aimed at sustainability, the Federation would be supplying AC units for what is typically the largest contingent of athletes at the Summer Games. She says, as you can imagine, this is a period of time in which consistency and predictability is critical for Team USA's performance, Hirschland said. In our conversations with athletes, this was a very high priority and something that the athletes felt was a critical component in their performance capability. Well, Olympic organizers have touted plans to cool rooms in the Athletes' Village, which will house more than 15,000 Olympians and sports officials over the course of those games, using a system of cooling pipes underneath the floors. I want the Paris Games to be exemplary from an environmental point of view, Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo has said about the plans for the Olympics. Well, you know what? I say this, when reality and virtue signaling collide, this is what you get. And as a matter of fact, when this does happen, reality usually wins out. Now, I'm sure my next guest has something to say about this. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Walser. Rebecca, I find it terribly interesting to see what timing this woman has to decide to virtual signal over the Parisian Olympics this summer. Boy, what bad timing.
I mean, I'm already laughing, Scott. I mean, the thing is, this is not just the United States. You know, you've got Britain, Australia, Italy, Norway, Germany, Canada, and Brazil all opting out and opting to take their own air conditioning. Australia is actually installing air conditioning themselves in the rooms for their athletes. These are the elitist of the elite athletes of the world that are literally competing, and they need everything to be exactly as they've trained, prepared. They cannot go to some foreign country and be hoping that the green climate doesn't get too hot or too spicy for them while they're there, so that they can actually relax and get into the REM sleep that they need to rejuvenate their muscles and actually perform at their highest elitist game. So this is just sad. It's virtual signaling. And once again, where the rubber meets the road, and then we're not talking about window dressing, we're talking about reality for real athletes. They're saying, no, I actually can't sweat at night when I go to bed. I need to get into a deep state of restful sleep for my body so I can be at my ultimate performance. It's just, Scott, it's what we've talked about so many times, where they want to say they're doing something, and yet what they're doing is fake, because it's not able to really be delivered to the world in that way. Like, you know, not flying, for example, because we're going to use electricity. There's no electric planes. They're not coming. So that's where we are.
Yeah, and now that you brought up flying, it just comes to mind that maybe we should see what John Kerry has to say about all this. What would he be saying? That would he be not allowing the air conditioners in the Parisian Olympics? I mean, to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. And to your point, look, if you citing beyond Lomborg, he says that if you really want to look at things, when it comes to temperature, cold and hot, because I'm sure they're going to use this as something about climate change, right? That's going to be the next thing we all talk about. And I love what he has to say. Bjorn Lomborg says that, these air conditioning units have obviously helped, and obviously they have helped with our baby boom in the 40s and 50s and 60s here in this country. But when it comes to people, things that kill people, it's cold that kills more than heat, believe it or not. So it's funny, if you're really worried about the world, you'd let the heat go. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. So I find it really interesting that she chooses now, like with these highly trained. I mean, these people have been working their entire lives to get here. They have not gone to McDonald's ever in their entire lives. They've not put anything in their bodies that is foreign that they don't know about. And now this mayor decides that this is what they're going to do. They're going to stake their future on their I hate the word sustainability, by the way, too. But that's what they're going to do. I can't believe, I don't know, the only other dumber thing is when we've got the LA Police Department maybe taking cops off of the traffic beat, thinking it's going to get better without cops. I mean, we have our own issues here, but still, I think this is incredibly stupid.
Well, you have to. I went to some highly elite global schools, and I respect all of them. And my viewpoint might be very different, but I was able to professionally work with people. Most of my friends are super progressive because that's the schooling that I've had in 4 different degrees. But my point I'm trying to make, Scott, is if you get into these rooms where these elites are having these conversations, they do not have conversations about viability and reality. It's all about what does it look like in the press release? Can we be the first city that goes to the Olympics and has a truly green climate? I mean, it's just, and the athletes are not a part of that discussion, and they're not a part of the reality. Like I said, it is so sad that we have allowed a group of people, and there's multiple groups now, I would say, that have furthered an agenda globally that has gotten so far in the elite circles to take up and to really push forward without any kind of documentation that the alternatives that they are actually putting into place really work and will actually deliver the lifestyle that we've become accustomed to. Like when you implement, global fertilization and massive food and energy and all of these things, and then all of a sudden you decide, oh, that's all bad, and now we're going to contract the food supply, electricity, all of these things. We're going green. What you're really talking about is killing off the population. You're just not stating it, and that's why they never address, will this really work? No, it won't work, because they know that as they implement these really severe plans, that you're talking about loss of human life at some point. Unfortunately, it's that serious.
And especially in the summertime when these people are training, I mean, they need to bring their core body temperatures down, and there's no better way to do that than get into a place that's air conditioned. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And if you've ever been training as an athlete, when you can't get your body heat down, it starts to really impede your gain. So I'll never understand. Maybe I'm not supposed to, because I just don't have the same mind frame that they do. But this is what they were going to do. I have an idea. We're going to have all these elite athletes come to our town, and we're not going to let them cool down. How about that? Anybody else want to vote? I want to know the people in the room that said that was okay. And think absolutely crazy. Anyway, we got to jump. But I appreciate you coming on.